I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew that the feds were going to investigate Nipsey Hussle passing with Big U, man. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I said it like I was like, maybe the FBI is going to get to the bottom of if Big U was affiliated, if he ordered, if he was involved, right? This is all alleged, once again, not saying that it did anything, but I was like, man, maybe we're going to actually get some answers if Big U was involved, because his name has been thrown around since the beginning. And Adam 22 said that the feds came to his house when they get information about Big U because of a clip that was played on his podcast about this situation, right?
We were doing a TV show like a while back, right? And I'm on a phone. He FaceTimed me. So he FaceTimed me and stuff like that. He was like, Nipsey just got killed. I'm like, sick, so I didn't hear that. So I hang up with him. I called Nipsey and I'm like, Nipsey, what's up? He was like, oh, what's up with it?
Nipsey answered.
Nipsey answered. He answered the phone. And I was like, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that.
Did you tell him the call you just got? Or you didn't even mention it?
I didn't mention it. And that's what fucked up, because my cousin is Nipsey baby mama. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, I could have probably stopped it, or it had it.
Stop what? Fuck you mean? That's fuck you talking about.
No, because listen, so after I talked to Nipsey and I was like, yeah, I love you, cuz, or whatever like that. I'll see you later or whatever. So I hung up the phone. I thought Big U gave wrong information. 30 minutes later, the homies blowing me up like they just killed Nipsey. And so I'm like,
wait. You get a call from Big U telling you Nipsey just got killed.
Yep.
You panic, called Nip. Nip answered the phone.
Yep. And
you like
just talking on regular. So it's like at the end of the day, I didn't even think about it, because
you don't even warn him that you got that call from dude.
No, because their relationship was so fucked up. It'd be like they be hot one minute, then they be cold the next minute, and then they be lukewarm. Like you
and
just
30 minutes after you get out the phone with Nip, he get killed.
Yep. I got it.
So you think he hit you a little too early?
Yep, he hit me a little bit too early, because the homie Shitty double back 3 times. You get what I'm saying? And first he shot him, boom, go into the alley, came back and shot him, boom. It wasn't good enough, and then he came back and he shot him again. But now it's like
how did he know?
Yeah, no, but
that's crazy.
It's deep. So
let me tell y'all something. Me working at
So that clip caused the FBI to come visit Adam 22.
Do you feel like you've affected what's going on with them right now?
Not really.
You don't?
Although I can speak on some very, very privileged information right now that I think is going to set the internet on fire, because let me break this down for you. Let me break down the last 24 or so hours of my life. So I this morning got a colonoscopy as a result of the fact that I, for a period of time, was suffering from a condition called colitis, in which your colon becomes infected and irritated, whatever. They wanted to do a colonoscopy. This is my second time doing it. Basically, it involves you don't eat any food for 24 hours. You take a bunch of meds that make you shit out every last ounce of water and shit inside your body, and then you go into the doctor's office. They put you to sleep. They take a camera. They put the camera inside of your butthole, which means, yes, I was booga booga today.
And Brick's very jealous.
By a large Samoan man. I don't know. I was locked up. So I was knocked out, so I don't remember anything from it at all. I'm sorry, Brick. I know that this kind of goes against the nature of our relationship and everything. I wasn't supposed to let another dude hold me down like that while you were locked up. I'm so sorry. But I did that today. Anyway, yesterday, I'm sitting around the house, starving myself all day. I actually have a newfound appreciation for fasting, because I do feel like I achieved some sort of mental clarity while I didn't eat food for a day.
Shots to the munch.
But while I'm in my house, I'm playing poker on my computer, a guy comes to my front door, and I didn't actually even know, but my girl was communicating with him through the box in the front of our house with the camera. She texts me, she says, a dude is here from the FBI, and basically he's trying to serve you with a subpoena. And so she told him, like a ride or die would, she told him, Adam's not here, and he's off at work or whatever. I forget what she told him. And so I immediately hop on the line with my lawyer. I said, what should I do? I don't want to, handle the situation wrong. Over and over and over, I've sat down with rappers or whoever who tell me about situations in which they divulge too much information to the police or whoever, and it ended up coming back to bite them. Especially something that comes to mind is like Hurricane Chris, who caught a body that was blatantly self-defense. As soon as the cops come, he airs out his whole situation and ends up coming back to haunt him because the state ends up trying him. So if he had not made all those statements to the cops right after he killed this dude, then it for sure would have been a way easier case for him to be. Now, that being said, I'm not really that worried, because I know that I myself haven't been involved in any criminality, but I figured I would have my lawyer take care of it. So my lawyer reaches out to the guy who came to my door. She assures me that she's going to be able to ask the FBI agent a handful of questions, and from that information be able to ascertain, is Adam in trouble? Is Adam going to be, forced to hand over a crazy amount of information? Because that was kind of lingering around in my head. It's like, God, it's going to be a huge pain in the ass if they want to confiscate all the computers and everything in here. We're going to have to buy a bunch of computers. So
where's the furnace? Start the furnace up, guys.
I don't know. I was considering that. I've not destroyed any information for the right. But this is the thing that my lawyer comes back to me with. She said the feds were interested in one thing and one thing only. Because in my head, I'm thinking, They're going to want copies of the podcasts that Brick or Loose were on. They're going to want to make sure that there wasn't anything in those podcasts that was edited out. Now, anybody who knows me and No Jumper knows that we really don't like to edit things out. So the only stuff we're editing out is if it's like a 4-alarm fire, like, yo, we need to take this out. So I don't think there's ever been something that Brick or Loose told us that they needed us to edit out. But the one thing that the feds wanted was the cease and desist from Big U to No Jumper, asking us to take down the episode in which Loose Cannon first made the explosive statements that suggested that Big U had previous knowledge of Nipsey Hussle's death.
Now, that was a video that I just played. So once again, man, are we going to get answers? Are we going to finally get answers to see if he was or wasn't involved?
Now, that situation is very much outside of what was mentioned in the indictment. In the indictment, there's nothing about Nipsey. There's nothing about any of that stuff. So this to me is kind of massive because it makes me feel like, oh, the FBI is interested in what Big U's involvement in Nipsey's death might be, which to me seems gigantic. I don't know why. That cease and desist is not going to help them prosecute Brick Baby or Loose Cannon or anybody else. But the fact that they're interested in that, to me, adds quite a bit of credibility to the argument that perhaps Nipsey Hussle's death was a more complicated situation than it appears to be.
Well, isn't that when this
gave it to him though?
Isn't
We did hand it over, yeah.
isn't this when that
was it?
I mean, really, like,
So it's safe to say you the feds.
I'm happy to help the feds with talking about a document that we have previously discussed on here over and over, and which doesn't implicate anybody that I know or whatever. It's not like I know about Big U doing something illegal. Big U did something perfectly legal by sending over a document to us asking us to remove a piece of content. Now, for the record, it doesn't mean that this means that there's a full-scale investigation into Big U's involvement.
So
in this situation.
you don't feel like you played no part in them getting booked at all?
No,
Like with the
Damn, so it's real in the battlefield, man. I think the feds are, wanting answers, and they want. And as I said, it's been a big rumor for a long time that Big U was involved. Allegedly, this is all allegedly.
the shit they set up here and you clipping it up. I mean, I get you live and people might be able to screen record, but some of the shit these niggas are saying, you sit back, like even the feds probably like, I can't believe like these niggas is this dumb. Then you clip it up to reiterate what they said.
My attitude is basically if somebody comes on the podcast and they want to live their truth, they want to talk about the things that they've been through, then it's none of my business to dig through each podcast and figure out what's criminal, what might come back to get them. Because let's be real, this is hip hop where a huge percentage of people's lyrics, songs, etc., are basically putting them in the mix and acknowledging that they've been involved with crimes. And when I'm sitting there and Loose Cannon's saying, because keep in mind, this is my first time even understanding that Big U might have had any involvement in any street stuff still. When Loose Cannon's sitting there and saying, yeah, me and Big U went to this weed spot and we got all this money out of them, and then Big U didn't split the money up fairly and yada yada. I'm sitting there thinking, Big U's on that? Like, I had no idea that Big U would have been doing anything that could be considered extortion or, payments for checking in, whatever. In retrospect, I feel a little naive since he did call his podcast that and he was talking about the checking in process pretty openly.
I mean, he talked about
Because at the end of the day, we understand the bottom line is the money. So at the end of the day, like you just said, if they come on here and you ask them certain questions and they're dumb enough to speak on that, yeah, it's partly their fault, but you don't think the questions you ask are strategically bringing certain things about them?
Well, it's not like I could have even asked about that since I didn't know anything about that. They just started talking about
it. Well, like, who are y'all talking about?
No, look, see, me, I'm talking about Brick. Now, as far as guests that come on and willingly tell on themselves, that's 100% on them.
Okay,
I don't blame platforms for dumbasses coming on the internet where the police are watching every platform everywhere and telling on crimes they committed. They're idiots.
Understandable, but did you read Brick's indictment?
I'm not reading through none of that shit, but basically what I'm saying is, regardless of if anything he said on this show was in the indictment or not, some of the shit he said, if that's my boy, like if my brother was to say some shit like that, hey bro, you gotta stop talking about shit like that, or I'm not even putting it up. Like, nigga, you just said some federal shit. I'm gonna edit that shit out before we put the clip out. I'm not just gonna be like, oh fuck it, it is what it is. He dumb enough to do it. If this is my boy, see, there's a difference between I'm calling this my homie, my friend, like Adam calls Brick, or some idiot that just comes up here and wants to go viral. Yeah, I caught 11 hats. Okay, you stupid as fuck.
But I think part of it is the fact that when Brick comes on here and says, I'm putting kill squads in the street, or I got more bodies than you guys.
Squabbles.
That's what I was getting. That was crazy.
Bro, he don't mean that shit.
It doesn't matter.
That's for entertainment purposes.
When he goes to court, they can still bring that type of shit up.
But my thing is that when I hear Brick say something like that, and of course I assume that Brick has never killed anybody, but when he says that kind of thing, I assume he's doing marketing because he knows that the aura of danger around him is such that that's really going to hook people and get them interested, and we're seeing that right now. Really, if I had a suggestion,
Clout is a hell of a drug, bro. Like, people will do anything. People would do anything for clout, even incriminate themselves. Sorry, I'm over here doing two things at once, but especially at No Jumper, all these gangsters. I haven't heard gangsters talk this much ever in life. This whole street politics was just a myth. You know, if you didn't live that life, you ain't really know the politics. But ever since No Jumper came, niggas want the clout, want the fame so bad they come up here and incriminate themselves just for follows, clicks, and views. Clout needs to be identified as a drug. It literally needs to be classified as a drug.
For Brick, if he gets out tomorrow, I'm gonna say, let's get a video guy, let's get in the studio, let's drop music right now.
1000%.
Because realistically, having this aura of danger and criminality around you is gonna be massively beneficial to people paying attention to your music or whatever you're trying to monetize. So, I mean, number one, all those statements were said on live. So yeah, we could have cut it out, which would have basically meant that everybody besides us was able to monetize it. Or we could have, you know.
Is that more important?
So it's content over everything.
It's gonna happen either way. So.
But the thing is, if you read Brick's indictment, you'll see, and I'm not telling you to because I know you
But
don't
he's
want.
not being accused of anything like that.
That's what what I was trying to get to. So literally, like, he had an AK case from 2023. It's got nothing to do with anything he said on a podcast. He's not a part of that RICO with Big U and them. He's not listed as a defendant.
Yeah, I saw that.
On that
Yeah,
RICO.
yeah, I seen all
So
that shit.
there's nothing that he said. Now, what you're saying, what Messiah said, like, oh, it could be used against you in court, potentially as a character witness, but I think that could easily be dismissed considering you're an entertainer for a living, and your persona is based on having this, street image, which these statements do nothing but substantiate. It's got nothing.
I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody come on here and they say what they say, that's coming out that person's mouth.
And even if Brick had never been on a podcast, you can just listen to his music and say, look at all the shit that he said. It's basically him declaring himself a killer.
I mean, yeah, his music's way gnarlier than anything.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like, let's say tomorrow Brick gets hit with another indictment, and it's like, oh, we think Brick Baby killed these 4 people. I mean, the music is then going to be the Traplo Ross documentary is going to be crazy because Brick talks like he's the best man who's ever walked the West Coast in his music.
Swamp Story,
and that's what he's supposed to do.
Swamp Stories has a whole video calling him. You feel me?
Oh yeah, right.
You feel me? The Crip serial killer, whatever they call him.
And I mean, people want to blame you, which I think, again, you asking certain questions could be looked at as, fetish. But at the end of the day, these people are coming up here to give these stories, to give this behind the scenes information because they want to go viral. They want the clout. So at the end of the day, if you're willing to take the risk of sitting behind bars or being unalived or whatever the case is for clout, then that's on you, right? Like at the end of the day, I could pass out the poison all day. It's up to the people on the other side to take it. So if they're going to come on here and they're going to do that, that's on them.
Yeah.
Facts. Just dumb as hell. But at the grand scheme of things, Big U, it seems like the FBI is doing an official investigation. So it seems like, they're trying to get to the bottom of Nipsey Hussle passing, which is everybody wants to know answers. Everybody wants to know answers, regardless who it is. We want to know what really happened. It's your boy DMD signing out.